You said it again this month. I'll start next month. And you meant it. You always mean it. That's the strange part. This was never about not caring. You've probably cared about this more than almost anything. You've thought about it in the shower, in the car, at 1 a.m., when you couldn't sleep. You've made the decision to start dozens of times. You just keep making it about next month. And here's what nobody says out loud. Next month has a twin. It looks exactly like this month. Same rent, same tiredness, same reasons. So when it arrives, you do the only logical thing. You look at it, and you push the start line one square further to the next month, which also has a twin. You're not procrastinating. Procrastinating is putting off a task. This is something quieter and heavier. You've been putting off a version of your life, and you've gotten so good at it that it doesn't even feel like a decision anymore. It feels like circumstances. Let's talk about what next month is actually doing to you. Here's the lie at the center of it, and it's a good lie, because it's almost true. Next month will be a better time to start. You genuinely believe there's a cleaner version of your life coming, one where the car is fixed, the busy season is over, the surprise expenses behind you, and you can finally begin from a calm, organized starting point. That month is not coming. Not because you're unlucky, because it doesn't exist. There is no clean month. There was never going to be one. Every single month of an adult life has something in it. The version of you waiting for the perfect conditions is waiting for weather that this planet doesn't produce. And the cruelest part is that next month feels productive. When you decide you'll start next month, you get a small hit of relief, almost like you already did the thing. Your brain files it underhandled. So you get the emotional reward of starting without any of the actual discomfort of starting. That's why it's so sticky. It's not failure. It feels like a plan. Quick thing, because the next part is the one I actually needed to hear once. If you've ever watched years go by on a plan you fully intended to start, this channel is built for exactly that feeling. Money Lens. Hit subscribe and stay to the end. The last part isn't a lecture, I promise. Now let's do the math you've been avoiding. Not money math. Time math. Think about the first time you said it. The first "I'll start saving next month," or investing, or paying that thing down. Really try to place it, for most people, when they actually sit and count. The honest answer is somewhere between 2 and 5 years ago. Sit with that number. 2 to 5 years of fully intending to start. That's not nothing. That's not a slow week. That's a genuine slice of your one life, spent in the waiting room of a decision you already made. And here's the thing about that waiting room. It doesn't feel like years while you're in it. It feels like a series of reasonable single months, each one with a good reason. The reasons are all real. That's what makes it invisible. You never had a bad month that ruined the plan. You had 30 good excuses in a row, and 30 is a long time. Nobody wakes up and decides to waste 3 years. You just say next month 36 times. So why does it happen? Because you're lazy? No, and I need you to actually let that go. Because I'm lazy is just another version of I'll start next month. It's a story that lets you off the hook while sounding like you're being hard on yourself. Here's what's actually going on. Starting is uncomfortable in a very specific way. The moment you actually begin, the fantasy ends. Right now, in your head, the plan is perfect. The future you who starts next month is disciplined, consistent, and successful. As long as you don't start, that version of you stays flawless, because they never have to survive contact with reality. The second you actually begin, put the real money in, make the real change, you become a real person doing it imperfectly. You might do it badly the first week. You might miss a day. The perfect future self has to get replaced by a clumsy present one. Next month protects the fantasy. And on some level, you'd rather keep a perfect plan you never started than own an imperfect one you did. That's not laziness. That's fear wearing a calendar. And there's a second, quieter reason. Starting small feels pointless. You do the math on what you could actually begin with this month, and it's not impressive. A small amount. A single change. And a voice says, "What's the point? That barely does anything. Wait until you can do it properly." So you wait for the month you can start big, which is, conveniently, always next month. But here's what that voice never tells you. The small amount was never the point. The small amount is not the strategy. The small amount is how you become a person who does the thing at all. You're not trying to save 50 this month. You're trying to become someone for whom saving is just something they do. And that person is built in the boring, unimpressive months. Never in the big one you keep waiting for. The people who are good at this didn't start big. They started embarrassingly small, and then they just didn't stop. That's the entire secret. It's so unglamorous that your brain refuses to believe it's the answer. So here's the shift. And it's smaller than you think, which is the whole point. The goal was never to start big. The goal is to start badly. This week, not next month. This week you do the tiniest possible version of the thing. So small, it feels almost like a joke. So small, the "what's the point" voice doesn't even bother showing up, because there's nothing there to defend against. Move a little. Set up the account. Do the one thing, at a size that's frankly embarrassing. Because the number was never what you were building. You were building proof that next month was never actually about the conditions. Proof that you're a person who can begin before it's comfortable, before it's perfect, before it's big. The month you're waiting for doesn't exist. But this week does. It's a little messy. It's got its usual problems. It is in no way the ideal time. That's exactly why it's the right one. Here's the part I actually want you to keep. You don't need to feel guilty about the years. That guilt is just next month. In a different outfit, it keeps your attention on the version of you that failed, instead of the one who could start on a Tuesday. The 3 years aren't a verdict on who you are. They're just what happens when a completely normal brain meets a completely normal trap. Almost everyone is somewhere in that same waiting room right now. Most of them will stay there, not because they don't care, because they too are waiting for a month that was never on the calendar. You can walk out of it whenever you decide the waiting itself was the problem, not the timing. So the next time you hear yourself say it, and you will, probably soon, just notice it. I'll start next month, and then quietly ask the only question that ever mattered. What's so different about next month that isn't already true right now? There's never an answer. There was never going to be one. That's not the bad news. That's the way out. This is Money Lens. We show you what the money world doesn't say out loud.